conference will now be recorded.
Sorry, you couldn't work it like that. Begin with the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to the November 20th Marion County Commission meeting. We begin with public comments. Tom?
Yes. Tom Britton, rural Florence. Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank all who voted for me in the recent election. I don't think I have to ask or thank anybody in this room, do I? There's an issue in Florence with non-residents voting in local elections. Elections in small towns have limited margins, and one vote can change government. So how do you police this? Well, you prosecute those who vote out of their jurisdiction. I suppose you've heard Harvey County banned windmills and solar farms. They have sensible leadership, respect for the land, and generational family farms. They didn't turn their county into a living hell as you did here. Last speaking here, I complained about the horrible noise. It's like living by an airport. And they whine. It sounds like a jet. And since then, I've experienced a shadow flicker in the evenings. It go from one, and then there for a while it was all right, and then goes to the next one. And I think you guys understand what that is. I hope you do. It's horrible. The dog goes nuts, thinks there's a car going by. Towards sunset, about that 30-40 minutes. It's like a strobe light. And then there's the blinking lights. You know, everybody knows it's cruel what you're doing to me living out there. Also, since the windmill started turning, I do not get the free over-the-air television. I miss Dragnet, Green Acres, and Car 54. Where are you? My neighbors, the Lanning and the Patchett's, have the same issue. Jean Lanning misses MASH. I have heard other neighbors the same issue. Could the county, using windmill pilot money, provide for basic satellite programming for all of us who are affected? It would help to mitigate a small part of this heroic project that you have created for us. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Any public comments from online? Not seeing any. We'll move into agenda approval. Any additions to changes to the agenda?
I have a short executive session at some point for personnel to review an application.
All right. Take it the agenda is approved, and we'll move into administrative business.
Okay. Nice. All right, I did put the minutes from November 13th, two sessions, and then November 15th on the table there. So I don't know if I know some of you probably haven't had a chance to read those.
Let's just take a minute, so some of us that really would have had a chance. approved?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Goering, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot, to approve the minutes November 13th and the special meeting of November 13th, special meeting November 15th. Any other comments, discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, there will be 3 places for you to sign.
Okay.
Front, back, on one.
Okay.
And then in your packet, you did have we did have some early checks, and then we do have the grand total for the longevity, which includes the actual wages and then the associated benefits that go with it. The total of the payroll is $38,134.63, and then we had a couple of invoices that we had to pay, total of $111. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, total of AP is $636.86.
Does the longevity need to be done separately, or can it be done?
It doesn't matter, you can do it however you want, but we're doing a grand total payables today of the $38,771.49.
Okay, is there a motion to approve
I
the
would
grand
make
total?
that motion to pay the $38,771.49.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Dalkey, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot, discussion or questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, I'll have the 2 boards for you to sign.
Can I ask a question on the Hillsborough utility? What, it says 480.86.
Okay,
Is that water or sewer or?
I can pull that board.
I just,
That high, it's having like electricity. Electricity's usually that high.
oh, well, for city, okay. Yeah, because they have the city electric, don't they? Okay. Well, that could be, very well could be.
I don't know, I'm guessing.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, it's electric. Let's see.
I wonder.
Yeah,
It's loading.
Wouldn't do that, huh?
yeah,
Electric,
so
that
it's
forgets the code.
We
electric.
get too used to the hot spots.
Combination.
It just goes boom.
Just probably some Kleenex. Combination.
Looks like it was just missed on the regular, yeah, it's a combination.
Combination
Includes
deal.
electric.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
Mess cleaned up.
You're good. I'll just jump over them.
Anybody wants to see it? Come back.
For electric?
Yeah, combination.
Okay.
That's combination city bill.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that made sense?
Yeah, and I'm thinking
Okay.
one at a,
Right.
I'm only thinking one, so.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, put them together and it's,
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
What was it?
Water and electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a combination. I was thinking one thing, is what I was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you
it does
for-
that. It's iron down in there, but you can't get them out.
That's what he ordered. Want to spill it all?
I did it again.
Don't need any more entertainment. Stay on focus.
In your packet, you have the first pay application for the remodel project. And that amount is $21,214.76 for pay application number 1.
Okay, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So much.
Motion by Commissioner Gehring, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Grecker. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, and I usually have you sign just on the bottom there.
Very good.
Thank you. Leave our space. I do have some salary changes.
Okay, first one is road and bridge maintenance. The salary change would be for Preston Williams from $3,442 to $3,563 per month, effective November 13th. And that was additional duties. And the county treasurer, for Tina, I apologize, last name is
Graining.
Tina Graining, from $3,415 to $4,831, effective November 17th, appointed as Marion County treasurer. And the last one, road and bridge special, Mark Lockhart, is new equipment operator 2, $2,940 a month, effective November 21st. Welcome aboard. Steve, and filling some slots.
Yeah.
That's good.
Some moves on Indigo there.
Good.
It was all fresh new ditches.
Well, that's right, we'll work on that next,
What you're trying to do is flood mitigation.
before it floods.
Yeah. Just in time, if they got it done. I opened up the road closed signs.
Good.
I'm hoping they made good enough headway.
All right, next.
In your packet, you have a new proposal for the preventative or systems maintenance for heating and air. Our previous, so they're proposing $2,346 per quarter. And just so that you know, we have been paying $2,132.25. So it's not a huge increase on the quarterly charge.
What's your recommendation?
I would recommend to go ahead with it. I know that there are other companies probably that do maintenance. We've had this company, they're familiar with our systems are very specific and quirky.
Yes.
And they have
Unique.
quite a bit of experience dealing with them.
Make a
so.
motion to go with the recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Gehring to accept the new proposal from KVK for the heating and air conditioning maintenance program. That's our second.
Second. Go ahead, Dave.
Randy,
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. The amount on that,
It's $2,346 per quarter, $9,384 per year.
thank you. Discussion or questions?
I think we've just been very pleased with them.
Yep.
Compared to where we was at before we found a company to make a contract for both buildings and all the buildings we own, so.
Yep.
I think so far I haven't heard of nobody complaining with them, so.
It's very responsive.
Good, good comments. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay.
You got no calendar. So far the rest of this week.
Nothing for us.
Do you want me to get the calendar?
I need to block out this for the rest of the week.
Oh, okay. Tina, do you have anything in this room the rest of the week?
I'll double check.
They told me they had an opening, I said,
Do they?
I will make sure nothing happens in this room.
Yep.
Pretty brave statement.
I think Tina will make sure nothing else happens because she wants this done.
Thanksgiving break allowed some extra help, so.
Good.
Well,
None of mine.
yeah.
Is it?
You
Yeah,
said
is
this
it?
week?
Yes.
This week? There's nothing going on this week.
I told them to be here tomorrow.
Okay.
They're gonna show up at 3 o'clock today, waiting in the hallway.
What are they gonna be doing?
I guess install the monitors, the rack, everything else.
Have you seen that rack?
But
Maybe you should see it.
We do the wiring side of things.
Uh-huh.
We
I don't know where it's
we
going.
We put wires in ports where they belong, and then that's it.
You gotta hang something on the wall.
Yeah, there's a rack just up somewhere.
Fit above the
It's
wall.
about this big. It's like a cube. It's supposed to fit somewhere. I don't know how that's gonna go anywhere, but anyway. And
I can't.
Of course, everything behind.
Just put it over his head. That way if it breaks, he falls.
And then January, we all move.
And so is it Elcom that's coming, or is it
Lancer.
Lancers? Okay, thank you, good to know.
Well, Elcon is finished
Okay,
until.
still gotta take this down.
Switch
I've
over.
got somebody coming in to take a look at that, of doing that work.
Okay. Could we move the rest of the administrative to the end?
Sure.
That'd be all right. Since Joel, you're here, let's come on up to the seat, just so we don't take up any more of your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. I was just gonna talk about a little bit about just department business and then
Okay.
request executive session, to
Okay.
talk about, non-elected personnel
Okay.
in the office of town, what's going on there. We have Carpel going on right now, having some growing pains with that and switching into that system, working with them to try to make sure everything is working smoothly. There's always hiccups.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, always problems when you're transitioning, but it's going well, getting everything digitally, but trying to go away from paperless, but that's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And everything else is going along well.
I'm gonna ask you one question on that. When you say going paperless, is this just currently going paperless, or are you looking back at what your records are that you can?
Both.
Both, okay.
I mean, so from here, trying to get everything paperless to
Okay.
not filing any more paper
Okay.
files, but we're still doing that. Trying to-
Okay.
Because I'm used to having paper in front of me and writing on with pen, and I always would rather have a pen in my hand than a computer, but.
How are those records digitally stored, on the cloud or?
Yeah, through their management system, it's all in the cloud.
To an iPad or Surface. You can still have your pen.
Yeah, and I need to get something like that, so I go up to court with that. I'm taking my laptop right now and going through trying to make notes on the laptop and make notes in the file. We'll get there.
So how's the state problem affecting you?
It's been a lot of work on the girls in the office. I mean, trying to work with the court and getting them the documents. We don't have really a calendar, so working with our calendar, the court's calendar, and trying to come up with a universal calendar for everybody. It's been a struggle, to say the least.
All right, any other updates from your office? If not, how long would you like?
No more than 10 minutes.
Okay. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss personnel performance of an individual pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel with the commission. Joel, would you like Tina?
That's fine.
Okay, and Tina, for 10 minutes, that'd be from 12:50 to 1 o'clock.
Second.
second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 1 o'clock.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, out of executive session, no decisions made. Thank you, Joel. We appreciate it. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Brad. All right, Sheriff, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. All right. Pretty brief, pretty short. I'll expand a little bit more on any questions you have. Oh, I know what I'm reading about. All right. Our staffing, road patrol is currently down 4 positions. I'm changing the game a little bit. Seems like we keep pulling from inside of the county. We expanded it all the way out. We're Indeed. I actually got a guy from Independence, Kansas, who has family here that has actually applied for us. We're doing his background now. I got another individual who applied. He's 9 years KDOC corrections officer, and he actually sought us out. He is the grandson of a former preacher here in town. Already owns a house. He was going to move here anyway. He wanted to expand his law enforcement, so we're looking at him. He becomes highly recommended, but we got to go through all the background process and everything. We've got a couple more applicants in today over the weekend we're going to look at. So I'm not too, I'm concerned because I have a lot of guys working a lot of time right now. My undersheriff's actually working some night shifts right now. I'm trying to help cover the night guys, and I'm the backup for the day guys right now. But we have some light at the end of the tunnel. What I'm trying to do is bring some outside blood in, so we're not tossing people from one agency to the other agency. It gives us a bigger pool to play in, and I think it'll help us out in the long run.
Okay.
Vehicles, Midway Motors, fixing the Durango. So had several talks with them. They've decided they're going to go ahead and cover the warranty and fix the engine. They've already ordered the parts. They're going to let us know when it's finished. Thanks. Phyllis did call over there. I think she ruffled their feathers too. So it was a little bit of a teamwork. They didn't call back and ask us if we'd come in and tell you guys the same thing, that they're going to fix it. I think a lot of it is Midway Motors fleet, and Midway Motors itself stepped up to the plate and put some pressure on Mopar. So just a little bit of knowledge, when we buy these vehicles, 3 years, 36,000 miles, what from what I understand is the Chrysler warranty on that vehicle. Then you have the 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty, which is the Mopar warranty. Both of them, we were rejected by Chrysler. We were rejected by Mopar. We went and spoke to them. Now that we're down talking to them at the table, they've really pushed Mopar, I believe, and Mopar is the ones picking the bill up. But it wouldn't have happened without Midway Motors themselves going, hey, this is a problem. So Midway did us a really good solid.
Okay.
So
let's be sure we let them know we appreciate that.
yeah, and I told them that I'd let you guys know. So here we are.
Thank you.
Ordering new patrol cars. I'm going to look at getting one outfitted from Hillsboro Ford, pricing one from them to get the order banks open, see what that looks like. I'm going to make a phone call today about another patrol car from the same place that we bought the other one from Missouri. It was wrecked on the front end of this one. Still has a good title. It's clean. It's good to go. It's only got 5,500 miles on it. It's a 2022 model. I think he's somewhere around the price of $31,000. It'll take us about another 8,000 or 9,000 outfit. It'll still put us under the price probably of a brand new one without outfitting. But we still need to make sure that we do some business with our local people. And that's more important to me than anything, but right now I just need a car. So, drone program. We were scheduled to buy 2 drones on the budget. We were looking at DJIs when I did the budget. They're $6,000 to $7,000. I know Hillsboro Fire just got one. Unfortunately, I was doing some research on them, and the United States is looking at banning the DJI drone. It's a China-based company. Their concerns, or what everybody's concerns are with China right now. The problem we run into is with the capability that DJI has, you can buy a drone made in the United States, but DJI is 6,000 to 7,000. We're looking at probably 16,000 to 18,000 on one made from the United States. So we're gonna do a little bit more research and find out what's out there. I got some good friends that run a drone program for the Union Pacific Railroad. We'll see what their solutions are coming up with. So I'll update you down the road on that.
Very good.
So right now the drones are kind of on hold, just for the fact of A, money, and B, I don't know where this ruling is gonna go. Some states have already done it. What I didn't want to do is have 2 drones sitting over there that we cannot use.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way it's
We don't need to support Johnny either.
Yeah, yeah. Budget for the sheriff's office and dispatch. We're right on track as we speak right now. We might probably just come in a little bit under the way I'm looking at it right now. We sat down the last couple of days and went through it. We're looking good. Even after buying a car, we're still looking good. Our jail, I talked to Jimmy this morning. I said, before I tell the commission this, I said, make sure I'm right. And he says he's on track too, unless we end up with an inmate that comes in that has an unforeseen medical condition at the end of the year that would cost us a ton of money. But other than that, we're right on the money. So, you got any questions of me? Man, this is good.
Well, it's all pretty good news.
Yeah. Well, I guess if anybody,
I like your outline.
Yes, I
Yes,
really.
it's very helpful.
Well.
To the point.
Well, it's to the point, but if I had bad news, I'd give it to you. I mean, yeah, we're down on guys, but
Yeah.
but we're getting there.
You got hope.
We're fighting.
Yeah.
So.
Are you losing people because of money?
That's a good question.
Retirement.
Retirement's killing us.
Okay.
It's I had 2 of the guys that left told me, they said, hey, he said 2 of the guys their significant others don't have a retirement. They work for somebody else that doesn't provide that, and they can go make a better retirement somewhere else. The one guy that my sergeant that I lost that went to Harvey County, I saw that one coming quite a while back. He was working with their SWAT team quite a bit. He is a former Harvey County employee. So some of that was wages as well. And the fact that, probably when he was looking at going to work at Harvey County, when it came to work for Marion County, Harvey County wasn't allowing take-home vehicles. Now they're allowing them. So therefore, makes that a lot easier answer. You get a couple more dollars an hour, you get KP&F retirement, and a take-home ride. I mean, I told him I can't blame him. I can tell you this. He did stand at my door and teared up and said, I don't know if I'm making the right decision. And I told him, I said, until you scratch that itch, you'll never know. I said, go scratch it. You have a home here when you're ready to come back.
Yeah. No burnt bridges.
No, none of the guys burnt bridges.
Good.
One guy, he is leaving. We're losing the canine out of it. The city we've negotiated with the city. They're going to buy the dog back for the price that they charged us since it's only been a year. We did send our officer to some certification and training 2 weeks before he told me what was going to happen. And the city's going to reimburse us for that.
Wow.
I wanted that training back and that time paid to that officer, so they have agreed to pay that back. I have actively put out a canine position on the internet, hoping that some young man that's been on patrol for 2 or 3 years has always had the goal of having a canine. And we got the money to buy one. I want 2 dogs. I want them on each shift. So we'll see. I have high hopes. Good question, dude. Appreciate that. Anybody else?
Lost 1 to a local agency.
2. 2 to a local agency and 1 to an adjacent agency. The other one went back to get his teaching degree, from what I understand, Stephen Jansen. That was a huge loss.
Well, at least it's 2 stayed local.
Yeah. Well, that was
you having to pick up certain loads for a while.
Well, and that's kind of what I told Marion when I lost the 2 guys to Marion. I said the day the second guy gets over there is the day we quit taking your calls. You're responsible 24/7 at that. And from what I understand, I think Peabody Chief got approved to their 4th position.
All right.
So
some of that pressure is coming.
Hopefully they'll get staffed up, and that'll relieve us a lot.
Yes.
So we'll go back to playing in our own county. Anybody else?
Again, good news.
All right.
Progress.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. If it's bad, you probably get a phone call if I come in here anyway. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tina.
All right, Marcy, Steve,
Apparently I'm it.
you're it? I thought I saw Steve out
Steve
there.
was out
there.
Is he on there?
He decided to sneak off down the hallway, so he leave.
They're always chasing me down.
Is Sharon here too?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Sharon,
See,
you
the
get
whole
the hot
team's
seat.
here.
Oh, yeah, you can have a hot seat. I'll take your coat.
I'll
Okay.
sit next to you and I'll hold your hand.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
How's your attitude?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice drizzly day.
It is definitely a lovely drizzly day.
It
Okay.
should end around 9 o'clock, and then tomorrow's just gonna be cloudy,
Okay.
just in case.
Not ice storms.
No.
Thank you.
Good to know. Okay, so it sounds like, we need to revisit the backup generator
Yes.
for the 1240 commercial building.
Yes.
That was submitted as part of our original RFP. The commission chose to not accept the bid that came in, so I think we just need to revisit that and talk about what type of generator you'd like to see out there. We're confined to price.
At this point, typically, since you already have a contract, you just go ahead and with the change order,
Okay,
request for change order,
okay, we can do that.
and then have them, present you a couple options that will fit that. Bring it back and pick from those options they give us.
Okay, so have them give us 2 or 3 options of a generator.
Yeah, so either pick up partial load, full load.
So there's no bid?
Not usually. Once you award a contract, it goes to, unless you wait until the contract's finished, and then you go to add it later. But typically, when the work is going on, you
You
don't.
want to add it now, you don't want to wait.
Yeah, but that needs to go through bid,
With
I believe.
I mean, the contractor gonna make 2 or 3 bids for other people.
No.
No, that's not what he's talking about.
No, they'll go right to whoever they have selected that's doing the work, and they will provide the number for the
That's
change.
Cody.
It'll be Cody's electrician. I believe it's Funk. I think so.
So it's up to the electrician to get it, not Cody.
Well, then he provides a Cody. Cody will put his managing fee on it, and it'll come up this way.
So the electrician, the contractor's electrician can have any opportunity of which kind of generator was purchased in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And it's up to you to accept or deny it, but
Do we give them any specs, like,
if you, yeah, I mean, at best, I mean,
Okay.
if you're wanting something to pick up the entire load, if you're wanting to pick up the entire load with restrictions,
like 80% or?
I think you want to do the whole building.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's not gonna be that much.
Yeah, most of the generators will pick up the whole building. It's just, sometimes they require a lockout device because, you know, you're in the building, you don't hear the generator kick on and run. You weren't there when the power flickered. So you walk in, you think everything's normal, you go fire up a stove, and all of a sudden your lights start dimming out because you don't have enough KW there.
Okay.
So, or they can put on a lockout device that doesn't allow you to use certain elements, and you get by with a small generator.
But the lockout device doesn't always work. Sorry, I got one.
Okay.
Well, in that case, there wouldn't be that much price difference between a partial generator or a full.
No, I think you just need to do the whole building.
Yeah.
Do it right the first time.
So if you match the KW on the pole, so whatever that pot is on the pole, that'll give you a full, and then you probably get into a liquid cooled generator there, so you're probably.
You shouldn't have to.
I think a Generac goes up to 26
Yeah.
kilowatt,
You
and
got
it's
one-
air cooled.
You got
It's
one air
26
conditioner?
Well, that's 26 on single phase
How
You have a
many-
three-phase
We
building.
have 3 phase.
How many air conditioners do you have?
2, we have 2.
An air-cooled setup is gonna be a 20 kW.
Okay. Well,
Then you gotta go to a liquid-cooled.
and we're running it on gas, so it'll be about 17 kW on natural gas. Okay, so if you want us to go to a liquid cooled and get a larger generator, that's going
It's
to
gonna be
be
expensive.
significantly more expensive than what
So
we
you go with the
had
20 kW
anticipated.
and just have them lock out. It depends how big those RTU units are. 'Cause those are like your major loads. I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything else that pulls quite that much.
No, we've just got the HVAC system. We'll
There's
have,
no break room, no stove, no.
Marcy's computer?
we will have a break room.
But it's not gonna have an
It'll
electric
be
stove or anything?
natural gas, our water heater is natural gas,
So it'll just be the RTUs.
right?
So just have to make sure that the unit can handle those.
Okay,
And if it can, you're fine. If it can't handle those, then you need to put lockouts on those.
okay. We'll have
And you can get by with that 20.
2 or 3 ATS. We would be able to shut down parts of the building manually. Is there any way to indicate if the generator kicks on without having that lockout system?
Yeah, but it's gonna add a bunch of cost. I mean, you're gonna have to have signaling or lights or something, enunciator panels.
He wanted it to be automatic.
Yeah.
They don't screw it up.
Yeah, but those, I mean, you can kick those air conditioners out. Most of the time, you're really worried about it's winter time anyway.
I mean, there's not an indicator light or anything that you can't get from the generator into the building?
There is.
And
There is. I mean, you can
that could
add
be very much
enunciator-
cost, there is.
Enunciators, yeah. But then you've got, you gotta get that wire between A and B, or you get a wireless, if they offer a wireless. I haven't seen a wireless one.
Yeah.
And they're not reliable because they're wireless.
Okay. So you would be in favor of a larger,
No, I'm not necessarily in favor. I
Just see
think a
what-
20 kW would be fine. It's
Okay.
just, you just make sure you're not gonna choke the thing out when an air conditioner fires.
right,
And if it does, just put a lockout module
okay.
on.
Well, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you need the AC unit when your power's out? I mean,
Right. But see, the AC unit's automatic.
Right.
That's the problem. So the AC doesn't know the generator's running. The generator doesn't know the AC's running.
So we
And
gotta
so
have
it's-
lockouts on the AC unit.
Yeah, so it automatically kicks in, has no idea that the generator's running, and it starves it out, kills it.
Okay.
Now the whole place is dead.
Now, what about the heater though?
The heater's forced.
Totally different?
Yeah. Okay. You're just locking out the condensing unit.
Okay.
Unless it's electric,
No, it's.
forced air, natural gas,
It's
right?
natural gas,
And then you just gotta blow it.
Yeah, just
Right.
lower on
Yeah.
that. The air, like you said, the air conditioner's the main.
okay. So,
A 20 with,
20 with liquid cooled,
No, 20 air cooled.
air cooled, yeah.
You get a 20 air cooled, that'll keep you in a reasonable price range.
with
Okay.
lockouts on the AC
And
unit.
then the lockout modules, they run a couple $100.
Okay.
But you don't wanna lock them both out, cause you gotta keep the computer cool on side.
Yeah, but if you can keep one running, and it won't kill the generator, then that'll be your primary unit, and then just lock out the other one.
Cause heat and computers don't work together well.
Well,
Right.
then, and I don't know if you get new RTUs,
Yes.
so they may be more efficient, and they may not pull like those other ones did. And it may not be a nothing, it may be a nothing burger here, I don't know.
I think it was estimated at a 20 kW running on natural gas, we could run at about 80% of full capacity. So, I mean, on a daily basis, you run what, 60% probably at least? 50, yeah. So at 80%, I think we can run everything that we needed to run.
Yeah, the worst thing you want is for one load to kick out your whole system.
Right.
So just make sure that's ironed out.
Okay.
That's all.
And it is 3-phase, so it would have to be compatible with the 3-phase coming in.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta match your service coming in.
Was there a set amount on the bid for it? Or maybe, is there
So-
some there and just not enough to?
It was.
We had a-
24, I think.
Well, we had a
22.
cap. We had an overall cap for the project altogether, and that included the scope that was presented, the generator, storm shelter. We had talked about some pavement work on the parking lot, things like that. Our bid came in on just the scope of work that was accepted at 239 and some change. So we have about 60,000 left for all of our security, the generator, the storm shelter. And then parking lot may have to come at a later time, which it's fine at the moment. We could just, there are some improvements that could be made.
Yeah, no, just check it. And then we never budget for contingencies. So we don't wanna eat it just because you got 60 left to use.
We're gonna be really tight under that cap that we have to work under. So, yeah, we can handle this however the commission wants to handle it. I guess, if you want us to have our GC come in with some, suggestions on generators.
Or a price that they provided that guarantees it'll match up with our system.
Okay.
Because the last thing I wanted to do was to agree to a unit that I didn't think was a 3-phase unit, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, we're gonna have to have a change order, we're gonna have to get a different one.
Okay.
Yada, 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 you're trapped at that point. But this way, at least they guarantee it for that price, and it's gonna work with their system, and they've worked on site, they know what they're dealing with.
I've got a question. Why is the building 3-phase? Because is the 3-phase being phased out everywhere?
No, it's actually becoming more prevalent.
Oh, is it? Okay. 220's being phased out.
Yeah, because you get the 3-phase, the 208 3-phases are equal legs of 120, 120, 120, whereas the 240 volt systems typically find a high leg in there and you blow stuff up because people don't know what they're doing.
It distributes the work a little better.
Helps your power factors,
Yeah.
everything.
Okay, so just so I understand the process, we don't need to take an action, they can take the direction and bring a number back?
Yeah, it'd just be a change. I mean, it would essentially be agreeing to the alternate.
It would be a change to the original contract amount.
Yeah, it would increase it by the alternate.
That's why I'm saying that ought to be going through the bid process.
Well, we can wait till the contract's done and then.
That's what I mean. Why don't you wait till the contract's done
Because
and then?
it costs more than installing. Because
They're there now.
while the walls are empty, it's easier to put it in now, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean-
it'd typically be cheaper, typically.
So we can wait, take bids and cost more, or do it now and hopefully save money.
Yeah, just see what the numbers come back.
You might save money, but you're still increasing the contract.
So that's one of those items that comes in under our overall cap. I mean, we can function under that until we get to that point, and then if we go over, or it appears that we may go over that overall cap, then we can revisit that.
The commission is still gonna have to approve the change order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regardless of whether it's over the cap or not.
Yeah, so, we can take this debate back up after you provide us numbers.
I guess I'm hearing some dissension between board members, so I guess I'm gonna ask for a motion to allow the group, or the building committee, I'm gonna call it the building committee, to proceed with the general contractor to get a hard number on a generator that, what words would you use? Power of the building, be appropriate for the
Sufficient.
building?
Sufficient.
Be sufficient for the building? Is that, okay,
Sufficient to cover the required needs. That's probably gonna be your most
okay.
general, but still there.
All right, I would make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Aye.
Yay.
Okay, motion carried 3-2.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey.
Isaac, heavy coat. What's that all about?
A little chilly out there this morning. All right. So I'm going to pass out a couple things here, kind of along the lines of what we've been working on. I've been asked to kind of go over the lease agreement. So this first thing here, if you want to take one or pass it on, this is going to be a very brief overview of kind of our expenses for both the park and what I could break out for just the trailer park. On top is the electrical, and Randy, if you want to take one of those and pass it down, that's going to be a copy of our current lease agreement there for the trailer park itself.
Got any more?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
So on that top sheet, we've kind of touched on this before with the trailer park. It's a little interesting because, one, you can't tell exactly where that power is going to which trailer. It's broken out in plots. Right now, the way that it's set up, we cover water and electric. If the trailer owner wants gas, they can get gas, but that is on them. The water for the park, we have a set amount of gallons, and that is for the entire park, my house, the lake hall, the campgrounds, everything. So it's hard to tell, as far as water goes, what the actual expense is in the trailer park. And I don't know how to, I guess, even begin to estimate or figure what that usage is. So on the top there, I have just the trailer park electrical expense, because that is the one thing that we can really track and look at. On the bottom, I have the expenses for the utilities for the entire park. That is everything. Really looking at it,
So like the 2019, does the 17 come out of the 2019 36?
no, that is included.
So it's included?
That is included.
So
I broke it apart.
you broke it apart, so it's
Yes.
actually
So the
50 something.
trailers take about half electricity.
About, yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, just,
I'm getting two
let's
different-
clarify, because I think that you just said two different things.
Okay.
So, on the electricity for Park and Lake,
So
Yep.
just go with 23, because I think it confused.
Is that total?
does that
Sorry, I'm
include
looking at yours,
the
yeah.
park and, or the trailer park? Or is that,
On the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes, so on the bottom where it says, like, let's just take 2019, for example, the electricity bill was $36,850. That, if you go up to the top, there's 17,000 there on the electrical expense for the park. That 17 is part of that 36.
Okay.
It's not on top,
addition to
yeah,
it.
it's not on top
So
of it, it is included in that,
So
so.
that's total?
Yes, that is total,
That's
yes.
what Dave said, then.
Yeah.
It's half of your electric.
Electrical
And how
expense.
many
Yeah.
units or campers or trailers do you have?
In just the park itself, in the
Right.
trailer park,
Yeah,
there is a total of 54, and it is broken out, I don't know how, it says there's 8 plots, but plot number 5 never has an expense. So there's really 7 plots that those trailers are broken into, which I do have a spreadsheet that has all of that in my office, but I just didn't want to overbear with information. So there's, the trailer park is technically broken into 8 different plots. Some of those plots are higher every month and a couple of them are lower, so I don't know, but I'm assuming that a couple of those plots have less trailers on them than a few of the other ones. It's either that, or there's a couple of them that the trailer owners don't come up very often, and the other ones are every weekenders. But that is how that electrical, it's not, it's not per trailer, it's per group of trailers, is how that is broken out. But yeah, really, 2019 through 2021, pretty relevant, or pretty close. But then last year, we saw a big spike in both just the trailer electrical expense and just total utilities and all for the park.
Yeah, it jumped to 44%.
Yeah, and I will say this year, you can tell on 2023, I just have through October there, it looks like the trailer park is gonna go back down a little bit, but the utilities for the whole park and lake, I think we're on track to even beat last year, which along with that, our water went up this year, our sewer went up this year, and our trash went up this year. So those three things have kind of shown where we're headed, but it is taking a big jump.
Other than the trailer park and your office, what do we use, where else do we use water that we're billed for?
Campground. Campground's a big one.
It's because
Well,
the trailers hook up.
yeah, but the campground, I mean, that's what I'm saying, the area where the trailers are
Okay.
and your office.
Besides that,
Besides that,
there's really not much.
how many units do you
The
have?
building on it separate?
The lake hall is a part, no, it's part of it, it's part of it.
Part of it.
Yes,
Part
it
of it,
is,
yeah.
yes, it is.
How many
And our
units?
restroom facility is as well.
How many units do we have, trailers, and total units to rent out?
Okay, so there's 54 trailers that are considered part of the trailer park.
Okay, 54 different units.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And then I have a total of 38 campsites that have water hookups as well.
38 campsites?
With water hookups, yes.
That's inside that area?
That is inside that area. So that is
Yeah,
on
and-
top of that 54.
No, it's out
So, well,
across the cove there.
I have
And then-
six of those. Six of those are on that cove. 32 of those are in that area directly behind the
Okay.
lake hall.
Do you understand, that's the area?
Yeah.
That-
Just to the west of the lake hall building
Yeah.
there is where the 32 are. Then those 6 are on that first cove there to the
First code,
northeast.
that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say, don't
yeah.
forget that, yeah, that's where the 6 is.
And then we have another 16 spots on the next cove over, but I do not have water out there. That's
Right.
just electricity, yes.
And is that all of them, Isaac, or are there still places where they can just go and go, huh, this looks like a nice location, which they do anyway, and I know that?
Yes.
We have open area for, what, do we have public water sites? Because all the stuff I've drawn, you'll see. But where, somebody who just decides, I'm gonna throw a blanket and a sleeping bag down and sleep under the stars, they need water. Nothing, no place for them to get it.
Just water like that? No.
Okay.
So typically, I mean, I do have situations where guys are out primitive camping and they have a big jug or,
Yeah.
a gallon
They're bringing
jug.
their own.
And they want, well, and if they're out and they want water.
That's what I'm after.
Yeah, so depends, I guess. A lot of people, we have a public water fountain up there by my restroom facility. A lot of them will use that. There are some that just go to camps, to an empty campsite and open it up and fill it up and then close it back up, yes.
Okay.
And I will say, depending on what that is, if it's, a lot of them will bring like a whole water wagon. And if that's the case, then they pay for a utility site. If they're filling up a 1-gallon jug or something for drinking water, we normally don't charge them for that because they're paying a primitive fee anyways. But if they're filling up anything substantial, I know like 2 campers, a lot of times they'll dry camp to where they're not hooked up to anything, but they do want water in the trailers, so they'll pull into a site, they'll hook up, they'll fill up their tank on the camper or whatever itself, and then take it out to some place where we don't have hookups.
Yeah.
They do pay for that in that instance as well, yes, but.
Now, the board out there, don't they give you so many gallons, is that per year that before you go over, before you're charged?
Per month.
Per month?
Yes.
Per month, so many gallons per month. Have we exceeded that lately?
We normally exceed it out twice a year. Two normally, and that is normally June and July, we go over. It's never by a lot. I think the highest, and I have all that information broke out as well, I think the highest that we've been, which I honestly don't know exactly what that cost is per gallon once you go over. I think our highest has been like $189 over our set monthly fee. Yeah, yeah. But it does seem like the height of the camping season is the one and only time that we ever have ran into that.
And for the board's information, am I right in saying that that set fee goes 12 months a year?
That is correct,
It
yes.
don't change?
Yes. And that is the same with sewer as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's quite a few months when there's, I don't know, 3 to November, December, January, February, March, sometimes there's 4 or 5 months there that's not much activities in the area, but yet we're still paying that.
City's making money then.
Yeah, we're paying that set fee, yeah.
Well, they got brought up a while ago in some municipalities where they were running the averages over the summer. Got found that they needed to be running the averages over the winter because it's based on the sewer fee, because the summer months there's so much lawn watering going on that it's not actually using the sewer.
Yeah.
So they can't be basing it off the summer.
Off the water meter.
There is no water meters here.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I mean, I think they just charge the sewer by how much water you use.
Yeah.
Because you think you're putting it back in, but you're not.
I'm gonna ask it now, and it's probably out of line at the moment, but I'm just checking based on what I had questions on. On the 54 trailer sites, the 38 campsites, the primitive sites, everything else we have, how are are they all required to come to you? We don't use Camp Host, we use you, correct? They're all required to come to you to check in, but is that an honor system? Because a lot of these lakes have gone to a gate system.
Yeah, so, and we run into this, especially over the summertime. Yes and no. I mean, on a super, super busy weekend, I've had issues with it, to where I see somebody out there and I'm thinking, I don't think I've seen you before. So then, you go up and talk to them. But, I'll tell you, typically what I've told people, because there's people that come in 11 at night, midnight, that have been traveling, and they'll call me and say, hey, do you guys have self-pay or anything like that? And I say, no, just go, get set up. Everything's first come, first serve, so that takes care of the problems with reservations or whatever. I say, just go get set up and come and see me within the first couple hours in the morning, and we can get squared away then. But yeah, and that is an instance. I mean, there's been times where someone's called and said, hey, I'm coming in late, and I tell them that, and then if that night I'm out driving around, I'll stop and visit with them, and they say, yeah, you told me, and it's like, okay, that's fair enough. So yeah, sometimes, but if I'm open, they're supposed to be in and get that permit the night when they show up. Yeah.
And you shut down like during the height of the season at what, whenever? Or is it I'm putting times in here for you?
It fluctuates quite a bit. I mean, during the summer on a Friday or Saturday.
It's 24/7.
Yeah, a lot of times it's 7:30 before I leave the office, but then I'm around, the rest of the night and out in the truck three or so times after that. And a lot of times if they call me and I am just there, I'll just go out and take care of them.
Sure.
So they don't have to come back in the morning. But yeah, typically earliest 6.
Yeah.
Let's say. Yeah.
I'm just trying to set something up to give you a life.
Gotcha.
In terms of set times that will be posted.
Well, and I don't know. I haven't ever looked into it too. We did just have our small lake managers meeting here last week, and that was a big topic of conversation because a lot of them have started turning to the self-pay station. And then that way when you come in, regardless of what time it is, you don't have an excuse as to why you haven't paid. Or like you said, there's a lot of places that even you're gated in or you're gated out at a certain time, and if you're, and I don't know. I will say the system that we have, it seems to work. Do I think that there's been people that have came out late at night and then pack up super early in the morning? Yeah, I do. I do, but.
You have to move Isaac's back porch. If you don't want people to mow it, they're just right there beside it.
After all the calls.
The red light, green light,
Where I saw it.
Don't look over the fence.
They got instead of the old parking meters, they've started switching over to where you scan the QR code and then you pay for your spot. You have to log in your spot. Well, the QR code has the spot.
And there's software that's out there that Harrington just set up for that purpose. So I've got costs of gates, I've got costs of
Gotcha.
all these different things so that you could have a system that runs about, I don't know how bad we need it. You know, it kind of comes down to,
Well, see, and typically, I mean, I would say 80%, if not more.
or,
When you're out there all the time, you know who's
Yeah.
paid and who hasn't. You know, like when we have our Bluegrass Festival or 4th of July weekend or Memorial Weekend, it can kind of be hard to keep track of that. And I mean, when they come in, we give them a little, it's a deal that hangs in your window or hangs on your tent, so that makes it a lot easier.
Sure.
But you also give those to some people and they throw them in the vehicle and you don't see them even though they did pay.
Yeah.
And so it's, I mean, it's normally, for the amount of sites that we have, it's pretty easy for me to keep track of who I've seen and who I haven't seen. But those busy weekends,
and you're more used to it. When I drive out there and I'm looking at it, I think, okay, how does it keep track of some of these? Because they're more remote. And you know, where there's enough, we've got enough space out there that I put all that stuff into the different provisions in here. Don't know whether you're gonna need it or not. But
Right.
ultimately, we can take it back out.
okay, yeah.
It's a good old boy system.
Well, that's it. I sat there and thought, I don't wanna put a bunch of stuff in here that we don't need. But
Which have worked fine for 60 years.
Yeah, so.
Works fine as long as the majority of the people out there
Are honest
good old
about it.
boys.
Well, because they'll run the other ones off.
Yeah. And I will say, like, the people, you know, like I said, I do think some get by. I would say 90% of those that do, it's primitive, like you said.
Yeah.
They're over on the other side, down in the back of a cove somewhere. But as far as sites with hookups, really don't have much of a problem keeping
Okay.
track of who's there and who's paid and who hasn't.
Well, there's some things we'll cross out there.
Easier to cross out there.
Well, that's just it. I just thought I'll start with all of this, and it's gonna be overkill, there's no question, but if we don't need it, that's fine. At least we've talked about it.
Right.
Was there any other questions on the pricing and kind of how we've been sitting?
And what do we charge now for the trailers?
Okay, so that's what I was gonna touch on. So right now, and if you turn onto the last page of that packet that I gave you. So right now, there's a $1,200 flat fee. So all the trailers, when they come in, it is $1,200 a year, $100 a month for your rent. There are certain electrical appliances that are listed on the back page of that agreement there. So for each one of those appliances is an additional $25 a year, not a month, a year. So, you know, we have trailers, depending on what they have registered, anywhere, I think the highest one is $1,375 a year, and there's quite a few that are just at the even $1,200 a year. But depending on what appliances they have, that kind of ranges a little bit. But $1,200 is our set annual fee.
Well, didn't we just increase all this?
This was one thing that was not changed.
Yeah, I think you told me last year.
What?
Just got increased.
Yeah, I thought we just increased this.
No.
last year.
We increased camping fees, storage
just
lot
camping
fees,
fees,
lake
okay.
haul fees.
No, we didn't raise.
We
trailers,
did not do
not
the trailers.
trailers.
Yeah,
Not
we
the
did, we
trailers.
talked about it, we did talk, and we had this conversation about the electrical appliances and all of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
When was the last time they were increased? I don't remember it since I've been on.
You haven't been on, we haven't done it since you've been on.
That was 2016.
Okay, I know we haven't done it since I've been here, but
Yeah, I
I
got
had
it.
looked that up at one time, but I don't
I
remember.
think we talked about it the last
You know,
time.
we're doing $1,200 a month now. And in 2022, that averaged out to $1,683 a unit for the total expenses. That'd make the trailers pay for everything. Which isn't, if we increased it to $1,700 total.
1,700 times 54 covers what?
Covers 2022 expenses for everything. That's the lake hall, Isaac's house, remote camping.
A lot of streetlights on this too now.
Correct. Yes, there,
I mean,
yes,
since-
yes, there
since
are. There's,
They haven't
yeah.
had a increase in 10 years, be safe to say.
It's been a long time.
I mean,
I think it was Dan and I was together, I don't know who the third commissioner was at that.
how much pushback do you think you'll get?
Oh, you get some.
Yeah, you'll get some, for sure. I don't know how much.
That's pretty cheap.
Depends on where you go to here, and
Yeah.
that's the bottom line.
Raising it that much, though, is gonna raise a lot of
But it
kickback.
costs
I know.
$1,600.
I know. I mean,
We're not in,
maybe we need to
we're in this for profit.
think about incrementally raising it over the next 3 years, something like that. To get caught up.
Jumping at 500 a year. That's, are you saying 500 a year?
What?
No.
Is what you're increasing?
That's what he was
Yeah.
saying.
No, increasing it from 1,200 to 1,700.
Yeah, $500 a year.
Yeah. $50 a month.
Yeah, if you look at it per month, that's not much, not compared to what rent prices have done if you live somewhere
You
in
know,
the
that's
last 2 years.
2 cases of beer.
Yeah,
But you,
different than I equated, but I appreciate the
Well,
analogy.
well, it's lake logic now.
Yeah,
Lake
yeah,
logic.
exactly.
Case and a half.
That's putting it in layman's terms.
But,
But
you
those
know,
guys will
they
understand.
can't live there full time like they can a trailer court. So you gotta keep that in mind.
It's a
But-
resort, it's a resort.
Yeah, but the
We're
trailer
paying extra for a
courts
resort.
that I've seen are $275 to $350 a month
For what?
For a lot rent.
for a lot rent. So then you figure out, well, they're only allowed to be there part-time, so you cut that in half.
But is it a permanent trailer with this?
Yeah, it's permanent trailer, but I'm saying, 350, you cut that in half, you're at 175. You're getting close to that one, that's higher than the
Yeah,
1,700.
about 1,700.
Yeah. I don't.
We
that's
seem
far
to
out
be
of line.
low compared, and I don't know what.
Well, and
is
so,
it.
well, you know, we had that meeting yesterday, or it would have been last Thursday, and I was hoping there was another one that had kind of a similar park situation, but
No.
we're the only ones that have it, and so it's hard to compare, you know, what other people are doing, because it is kind of such a unique thing with the restrictions that are on them, and I mean, I know that's a lot of their pushback. I don't want to say pushback, but you know, when the conversation about lot rent being raised has been brought up by trailer owners and everybody over and over and over and over. And that's kind of been their big thing as well. It is cheap, and you know, they know it's cheap, but we can only come up for 3 days out of the week, and we can only come up for, I guess it's like 7-8 months out of the year. And so,
Weren't you thinking about doing away with the 3 days a week thing?
well, we talked
You don't
about
want
it.
to get cluttered.
Yeah, and well, and that's kind of the problem with that there, but, yeah, and so it's kind of hard to find something to compare it to and say, yeah, you know, this is what most people are doing, because.
You just have to go by what the expense is.
So
Yeah, and-
$150 a month.
And that's it, and that's kind of I guess, it's hard to say, well, we're going off the expense, because it's hard to separate the trailer park from the rest of the lake, and so I guess that's kind of where really the electrical expense is all that is there to really say this is what is coming from the trailer park, because water, you can't do it, and sewer, you can't do it. But
Yet it raises.
you can tell, yeah, 2022 had a significant jump.
They don't need to know how we figured it. It's expensive.
Well, that's it.
I mean,
Well, they kind of expect a government entity not to make money. It's supposed to be not for a not-for-profit.
but I bet the 150 won't cover this year's
Right.
total, because we're gonna be more than last year. So we're just, and for sure, 2024 and
150
25 will
It's gonna
be.
be up.
150 covers more than your 1,700.
That West Star.
That's 1,800.
That's 1,800 a year.
And they've
but
put
still.
Yeah.
they've put in for a huge rate hike, didn't
Yeah.
they?
So far, all they've been able to get anyone on the committee or the commission to entertain was a 10% of what they asked for. Doesn't mean they won't still keep lobbying for it, but that's where it's at right now.
So, I mean, we know for a fact it's gonna keep going up.
Well, sure.
It will. The thing that I look at is if we haven't done nothing for 8 to 10 years, stayed at this $1,200, we all know that we have to do something. And, you know, something reasonable. I like your idea of if you wanna go to a certain point, maintain something, that we have a, so much this year, so much next year.
I don't know what that accomplishes other than
Yeah.
giving them a 1-year reprieve or
Yeah.
something.
It just pokes the bear each year.
Yeah.
Dave wants to rip the Band-Aid off.
Rip off the Band-Aid. And I think that's why we jumped from something like 900 to 1,200, less than 1,000, went to 1,200.
Want to hit the discussion
I was
once.
just thinking, if we need to go to 1,700 from 1,200, do it over a 2-year
The thing
period.
is, then next year, we should probably go from 17 to 18.
Yeah, we're gonna
Because
see
it's
an
gonna be-
increase in electricity.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So that doesn't really cut it either.
The debate comes back to, is it all at once, or you're gonna spread it out, but then you've got further to go.
But
If
did we
you're gonna
res-
do it over 3 years, then you really need to target
We know
2,000.
for a fact that electricity will be at least 10% higher.
And
So I
maintenance
guess
on
you
water.
could,
and
you could
maintenance
use
on-
that figure, hoping that the Kansas Corporation Commission doesn't allow any more.
But
Well,
then-
and I don't know, this is, we talked about this the last time I was in here, and I don't know if it'd be worth looking at doing, but if you completely got rid of that last page altogether, and then made a price jump, but then that also.
Just everybody and their dog will set up an extra radiant heater and just make that meter cook.
And I'm afraid if you do that, they're gonna be lugging in more stuff.
You think $25 a year covers the price of?
I don't think it does.
No.
None of that stuff.
And
I
that's
think it's
kind
more
of-
of a hassle at $25. It's more of a hassle for you.
Yeah, I'd be more in favor of just a flat increase.
And you take all that stuff out and do it.
I really
Flat
didn't
increase.
Are you
know
collecting
that.
off of
I did that
54, are you collecting 1,200 off of all 54 of them?
Yes, we are. There are a couple of them that we gotta kind of push a little bit
Okay.
when it's due, but yes, there's nobody that is not paying or refusing to pay or anything like that, yes. Now, there are a couple that I don't think I've ever seen since I've been out there, but.
But they're all fully reserved.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I, yeah.
Even 1,600, it just does get you close. I mean, of course, there's other things on this stuff,
But-
lights,
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
street lights.
yeah, right.
But to be responsible for the, only 10% of the people in Marion County are using it. The other 90% are supporting that.
Well, let's
Make you wanna,
point out the obvious from the MBA classes. If they're full in this economy, in this environment, in an agricultural setting, that means we aren't charging
That's right.
nearly enough.
yeah.
Because
Well, and-
if everybody recognizes they're that cheap that they're maintaining them, and we got 54 of those that are full in Marion County, we're not charging.
It's
nearly enough.
supply and demand.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say, I don't know, and it's hard to say electrical expense rises or whatever, but I do know that the amount of people using trailers now compared to the amount of people that were using trailers when I started and for how many that were for sale.
Yeah.
It's been drastic, and I mean, those trailers when I started were normally selling from $12,000 to $15,000, now they're selling for $50,000 and $60,000. And so there,
And we haven't even
everything.
begun to discuss, you've got all the staffing, all the other regulatory stuff that gets contemplated in here.
There's overhead.
That you've got additional overhead that's significant beyond just electricity. That's just one small piece. Big piece in terms of the relative size of it, but all of these other elements that you haven't even begun to consider yet. So I don't think even at 1,800 years.
You can add another 10% for administration.
Sure.
When you do the 17 now, then next year add 100 and the year after add, it'd still be under market value.
I think you would be by far.
What do you got factored in on yours?
I left a blank, but I wrote 3 numbers on my copy, and my lowest one was 1,800. The highest one was 22. And I took into account a lot of additional, and I just imputed pro forma, a bunch of expenses for care and ongoing needs that we're gonna have on these particularly in here, I put everything in we talked about in terms of enforcement. That means you've got your sheriff's department, or you've got somebody dealing with this, and you've got Sharon dealing with some elements of it. So you're gonna spread some of these costs over at least 3 or 4 departments, and it's significant over time.
We got a very nice road in front of all of them.
And one other thing, do we still have electric to upgrade, or is it completely, we've got more electric to upgrade?
Electric needs to be upgraded, so.
I'm gonna say so, yeah. That needs first.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah. But that's a lot of, the campers are they pretty well, and the camping areas done, or not the camping area, but the trailers?
No.
They're not.
So
It's sufficient.
It's
well, and
Sufficient.
you're talking about the electrical in the trailer park?
Yeah.
So you might know more about this, and I was kind of curious about it. So all of the back row pine trees.
West side's done.
Except the back corner. So Fisherman Lane is all underground with pedestals, Camper Lane is all underground with pedestals, Pine Tree Lane, the one on the far west side that runs all the way down. 3/4 of it on the south side are all underground pedestals, but then the last quarter on the north side, right when you come through the stone gates, it's still overhead. And I never understood how that happened, or when that happened, but that's when we ran into an issue here a couple of years ago.
So are they plugging it off a pole, or where those last
They
ones
got
get?
random poles set between 2 trailers.
I wondered, I thought they were all pedestals.
And then
So-
one trailer caught fire, lit the overhead on fire, killed the rest of the trailers.
So I think
Maybe it's
they're,
all rock up there.
well, and that, I just didn't know what the conversation was or how that was all done. I think there's
Like I said, it's
7
sufficient.
trailers that
Yeah.
still have the lights turned on.
Yeah.
All the other ones are now underground, yes,
And
yeah.
I don't know if all the pedestals are up-to-date pedestals, some of them is not, so. But I'm just saying that there's some more expense coming from us to maintain, to run that thing.
Looks like you got budgeted in for this year, don't you? Did Jonah cut the contract?
No.
The pedestal cost is
It's
breathtaking.
budgeted.
We just did them in Harrington, and they should have gotten them done 2 years ago, and they're up to just right at 30% for what they had been bid previously. So if we've got old pedestals and have to change those out, that gets pricey quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
And if Evergy's the one doing all of the overheads, I do have their cost per pole
Uh-huh.
and all of that.
The rest of us are cheap.
Yeah, it's honestly true.
Well, my guess is I think it'd be a very small percentage that would want to give up their trailer rent for that type of rate hike. But maybe I'm wrong.
Also, with part of that is upgrades coming on electric.
Well, that's just it. I mean, and just the cost, this inflation thing, especially when it comes to parts and service, and it's not gonna get any better, is it, for a while?
Ken, I just got an email.
I ordered 4 CT cabinets 4 months ago, and I got pushed off to the middle of January, and I'm supposed to have 2 stores done at the end of this week.
But I just got an email a minute ago. I'm getting a 5% increase
Yeah.
on my computer program, starting December 1.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you
That's
gonna do?
next week.
Pick up a new computer program?
No,
No? You just gotta pay
It's
the
just
fee.
paying for what you got. I
I
did the
just said
same
thank
thing.
you.
Okay, Randy?
So, would you go $50 more a month for 12 months? That would be 600 more, so you jump to 1,800.
At a minimum.
At minimum.
That's how I view it.
I heard this guy over here say something about 1,800. That's,
But what's this do to you? So, you make flyers out of this kind of stuff, right? Or is this not part of the flyers?
He's got a meeting coming up right away with the.
Do you mean like,
Don't you make like literature that you produce, so if we kept rate hiking year after year, that's gonna mess you up on pamphlets or whatever you give
okay,
out?
yeah, I will, well, so this right here for the trailer park, all I would have to update is my lease.
That doesn't go into it.
Okay, okay.
I do not have my trailer
So we would
information
have the
on.
flexibility to do this year after year.
Yeah, it'd just be a new copy of the
Look at
lease.
it every year.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, that's one thing I.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you don't think about.
Yeah. Even if you wanted to do like a really slick trifold, I mean, there's the Western Associates here in town that are cheap with that kind of stuff.
Well, you get it on the internet.
That's right.
Well, you buy 250 of them, and then, you know, you got 50 left.
Yeah.
But no, they changed the rate, so you got to
Just cross
scribble
through.
them all.
Yeah.
Try to hand them out. I mean, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yes.
Yeah, are we gonna mess you up there?
That is the only piece of documentation that I have that we give out to the public, which lease agreement really don't, except for trailer owners, but that, the lease information and the lot rent information is not posted on our,
He just
like
does
our county
55
price
this
sheet.
year.
All right, I'm hearing a general, first, there's a sense to increase the trailer rents. The next one is, it sounds like it's closing in on a number.
$50 more.
Is there someone ready to make that motion,
I would make that motion that we raise the trailer rent from $1,200 a spot to $1,800 a month.
Year.
Trailer, or year, excuse me. That's an increase of $50 per month.
Runs from January 1
To December 31st
Of 2024.
of 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Dahlke, second by Commissioner Garing, raising the trailer rents from $1,200 to $1,800 a year for the year of 2024. Discussion?
Still a real bargain.
Yeah. But that allows you to move and get to that 22.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0.
So then on the appliances, are you
Appliances.
changing those, or are you leaving those?
I was gonna make that separate.
Make a motion to change that to $100 per year, per each.
Per each?
Per each, per year.
Because of all electric.
I mean, based on what's on the back page.
Yeah, so $100 extra per year if you got a washing machine, $100 extra if you got a dryer, $100, and it's for a full year, so.
It's bad for money.
But it also limits people to be like, well, I don't wanna spend an extra $100, I'm gonna plug in this extra heater over here because my cat is cold.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion?
Are you sure you want to go with that kind? I'm just asking. We are trying to cover expenses for.
I'd be more in favor of looking at it every year and doubling it this year. That's just where I'm at.
Electricity's gone up 20–30%.
I guess I'm kind of following a couple of other comments. A 300% increase in 1 year.
That's the comment you're gonna get, not the 50, not the $75 or more, or $50 more. You're gonna get the percent.
I mean, I understand the need and that we're that far behind. But if we do trailer rent increases of 300%.
If we make it a point to look at it every year at this time.
Okay,
You didn't change it for 12 years?
Well, we didn't even look at it till last year.
That's what I'm saying. 12 years ago, $25 bought you what $100 buys you today.
Right.
I don't
I agree
argue with
there.
that.
I'm just going off for public perception, I guess, more than anything.
I go back to what Dave said, 10%. People use it, the rest of the county's paying for it. Make sure it doesn't fall on the taxpayer.
Yeah, because I know how many, at least I did know, I don't know unless there's been a change, but how many was natural gas and how many was no natural gas at.
Electric heat.
Like they use some electric, but they're not allowed to through, if you read this, they're not allowed through to the winter, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, they're not, just through, can't do that through the winter. So it's in the rules, or at least it used to be.
All right, motion on the floor, raising the appliance charge from $25 each to $100 each per year. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. I'm gonna go aye. So, I guess.
Well, I guess the deciding vote,
I guess-
didn't quite get right in the face like I normally see in other commission, council meetings. Man, that deciding vote usually gets them hot.
Yeah.
I guess Isaac, you sent it my phone number.
Brad, did you have anything else?
Why, yes, thank you for asking.
What about the rest of this?
Yeah, it's funny you should ask.
We just handled this.
I'm gonna say this up front that, so that I don't end up getting killed. We probably want a work session, because just in the things that Isaac talked about today, we spent an hour.
Yeah.
And we're not even close, and I'm shifting this, you will no longer have leases out there, you're gonna have a contract out there with these people.
Yeah.
Because otherwise landlord-tenant applies, and I don't want landlord-tenant to apply, not that I don't wanna be unfair to someone, but the contract itself will lay out the rules, and it lays out what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it, and I've been through the entire Landlord-Tenant Act to make sure I didn't miss anything that would protect, the individuals who are out there entering into it, as well as us. This doesn't even come close anymore, but it gives you an idea. It's long enough that I'm gonna do a table of contents for everybody's benefit.
I do receive emails.
I know.
Why can't you do something like the sheriff?
Yeah. And when I started this, I thought that's all it would be.
Okay, I got a question. I just got that, the big blue folder. Don't you need to reprint some of those? With all the rates on it?
My lake brochure?
Yeah. Once you do the print.
This is, I think it will, the answer to your question is probably yes.
But all we need is the permits, the camping rates.
Yeah, the rest of
All this
this,
other stuff,
the rest of this could be handed to someone with, when they camp. I mean, it's just, this becomes, I did a different type of a use agreement on the front. It mirrors to some degree what Isaac's been using, like on the back side of it. Just because I'm changing it over to an agreement and not a lease, it changes a lot of what you do. Then the terms and conditions, this was my first stab at it. There's highlighted areas in it, red and yellow, because some of these things we may not want to do. Other things we don't do that maybe we should do. In terms of some other passes or some other, well, and if we put in a gate key cards, some of that's not going to be relevant if we don't want to go that route.
budget.
All of the pricing details, you can already see where I was at on the very second to the last page.
What patio decks constructed? There's no constructed issue.
Well, every time I drive out there, people
Temporary.
have built fire pits, we talked about that. Then we find that they go ahead and set up stuff around them that for all the world look like a deck. And so I stopped and took a couple of pictures of those and thought, well, we're not regulating that anywhere, any shape, in any form. And if we're gonna, either we're gonna allow it and then regulate it, or no, we aren't. It's one or the other. That's a choice for y'all to make. But I wanted to make sure that it was in here, so you had to discuss it. And then I also put a bunch of in the last 3 pages of what I gave you, some additional simpler language in a couple of cases and other things that aren't in my original draft, because I tried to keep it under 20 pages. And I just kind of did that. The first attempt was 18 pages. And I was still working on it this weekend when we had it on the agenda. I thought, oh shoot. And I was gonna give it to Isaac and thought that's not enough time for him to review it either. But I didn't want you to think we weren't working on it. I went ahead and put all of that together. And then I made a bunch of phone calls all over the state and in Oklahoma to get some ideas of what similarly situated kind of settings like ours, and there aren't a lot, by the way. I mean, ours is unique in terms of the county element of it, and what we do and what we offer, and then all of that costing factors and stuff. Like on this one, I did leave that number in there just for shock value. I had it at 3,400 to give you an idea of what a lot of them charge. And there's a lot higher than that. So we're economical, and I don't mean for that to be something that we have to consider. I mean, what you guys came up with, I think, is fine, because on my notes, I went from 18 to 22 as a range. But even at that, we're probably exposed some. We're taking tax dollars and supplementing. but I didn't have, and then I did talk to the Army Corps and got some different suggestions for language from them on indemnification, about what people do and don't do that can in some ways damage, like our dam. If you sign this as a contract, there's indemnification in there. Now, gradually, you're going to realize that some people aren't going to be able to come up with $16 million if they screw something up, but at least we have the ability to cite them for different things. All the parking, I've addressed all of that in here. I addressed unit and site setup and cleanup, because these guys are having to deal with that a lot. Dealt with the storage shed stuff. I also got rid of what I'm having to deal with now, which is get court orders to get control of some of these units in different places and different things that are parked. Not this in here anymore. After the season, you don't get it moved, we own it. And if you want it back, you need to come find us, as opposed to us finding you. And that's the advantage of the contract versus the lease. Water tap fees, I threw all of that in there because I didn't think we'd ever really discussed it. Other things like I put in red, the emergency action plan. I don't know what we have other than our county-wide one, Isaac, for out there, and we're really exposed by not having something. Tornado comes whipping across that lake, and we have people who are going, I don't have any idea what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, or what's supposed to happen. Oh, and by the way, don't you have some type of underground shelter? No.
Grab a tree.
Yeah, that's basically it. And we're talking trailers in a lot of these cases, so I just keep finding more things to add to this.
I thought you said 2. Okay.
So, anyway, what I propose next is to have you read this. I have Isaac take a look at it, and I'm going to sit down with him and just kind of go through, and hopefully, this is Thanksgiving week, so it's probably not going to be by next Monday. But, and get his input on a lot of stuff, because he has direct knowledge that I don't possess. There's a lot of control features in here about these RV units and the black water system and all of that we don't have anywhere that we should have.
Right, you also made a statement that some people is going by these gate in, gate outs and stuff, other ways.
Yes.
I think we all need to hear that, because I wanted to change it when the existing service person left that building. We all know what kind of a hassle it is to make a job for this person right here. And we sure need to, we need to look. I mean, we went right back, what we did was we tried getting away and then we went right back to it.
And when you look at the overall job description and talking with him, what he does is way above and beyond what you necessarily would expect. That cell phone number of his, I've already done it. I've abused it, called him on a Sunday, at different times, just to ask a question about this.
I think it was this Sunday. I know it was Saturday.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I was working when you called me.
He didn't answer it on Thursday. He's very religious about that.
But yet I see a system, I don't know if they've changed it, in Harvey County.
Yeah.
Harvey County East.
Yeah.
They don't have nobody there. I mean, it's, 24/7, they don't have anybody there. But they don't have trailers. They have camp spots and things like that, so.
And I got a long story about why in the heck they don't do that anymore and wouldn't advise it. And I said, but we do it, so I've got to deal with it. Okay, that's my speech.
Yeah.
Of course, they had nobody out there the whole summer, because the whole lake was under, until 2 weeks ago, that lake was under algae water.
Green algae.
The whole summer.
Well, and they don't really have water either.
No, the water
Yeah,
is
it's
way
so,
down, too, yeah.
if you go out there now, you're just going out to an area that you can sit down and stare at across the countryside. There's no
But
water
it's just
activity.
different ways to run something like this.
And those gates, I went and, I was just curious, and I went and looked at one and then had the guy video it. It's pretty slick. They have 2 main entrances and same exits. And so they set them up with those, and it really works pretty well. And they've gotten better at it all the time in terms of how they're set up, and you can't drive around them the way they've got it situated, and sure wouldn't want to in an RV. So all of that, but again, those are things that I'm not going to make decisions on. It's presumptive on my part, so I just threw most of it in here to start with, because I think you had said, well, give us something to start with, so here you are. with some additional provisions at the end, and then I'll refine it still. I'm not completely done, but I wanted his help because he has to deal with the anecdotal stuff every year. I don't. I've been out there 8 or 10 times now because I keep thinking, what's that like over there? And you drive it because it's got a lot of benefit. I can see why people would pay a lot more than what we're charging them to have that spot. But
that's the reason why the trailers go for freaking
And
$6 grand on something you buy in 1980.
And that's another thing. The 75 and older, I'm thinking that some of those are clearly way beyond.
So there are, and I don't, that's what I was gonna say, because that was actually gonna be a question that I had for you, because it looks like on that lease agreement there, the way that it's worded is that they're grandfathered in, but I didn't know if that date that was on there need to be.
We're gonna change that, let's just leave it at that.
Okay, bumped
Because
up or
we've got
what.
some out there that aren't even, I don't believe, unless we do an inspection of each and every one, and I'm not sure if I wanna get into that because of our liability. There's some out there that probably shouldn't be there, and they're a danger to everything around them. And the electricity, like you said, turn on the switch, it still works. That's a short prayer before you do it, but you know, there's problems with some of that, and we do have some liability for if we maintain this and it's ours, and you've got that kind of activity on there, I cannot tell you that we wouldn't be joined in an action on some of these for maintaining or allowing to be maintained some things out there that are nothing short of completely unacceptable.
Federal Pacific.
Yeah, exactly.
Lights turned on, just never shut off. Burn the house down.
Then you were lit up by fire.
But the one issue too is we had a guy sell his trailer, moved it off the property, and tried to sell on the lease.
The rights
the rights to that spot.
I know.
Are we addressing that?
Yes.
Okay.
The contract ends. This is very different than what they've had before, and this is very different than what you've seen before.
Okay.
The subtlety of it is fairly dramatic, but only if you went to law school. It's there's a major difference in what we're going to do in terms of how we reach these agreements with these people and what they can enforce, and our ability to control is much greater. Because the lease element of it implies certain things, like if you have a second house that you want to lease, Landlord-Tenant Act is very different than just a contract for the ability to use a driveway or the ability to use a backyard. And what we're doing here is we're letting you park something of yours on our property, and then also providing you with certain services with that in mind. That's all becoming contractual. It allows us a lot more flexibility. It avoids all of the old style land law stuff that people can still assert right now, and they don't most of the time, thank goodness, but they could. And then the liability issues related to, you know, having it out there on a lease versus a contract is very different.
My thoughts is, I don't mind them selling their trailer to the next person, and that trailer's sitting there. I mean, as long as they didn't move it off, it sits there, and they should be able to take over that lease. But the minute they move the trailer off, I think that throws it in a whole different ballgame.
Well, and also
not the minute. There's got to be a grace.
Well,
because what if they're making improvements? Maybe they're shipping out 1960 and bringing in 19.
Yeah,
to me, that's the same owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the different owners, I have a little heartburn with, I'm selling you this trailer that's worth $5 grand, with a lease it's worth a lot more, and somehow allowing them the transferability of that lease. And we don't directly deal with that in here. I looked for it forever because this cannot not be in here, and it's not. We hold the lease.
Can't transfer your lease to another party.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
You
You're
have
not
to give it
supposed
up,
to be able
let
to.
Isaac
Yeah.
reissue it.
Yeah. If they want to come in and
Something like
renew
that.
for a year,
Or not to
you know,
give
and you
away
get the
to say
benefit
that.
of that year, fine. But this is, what we're doing here is something against the rule, against perpetuities. We're letting something exist beyond the life and being in 21 years. It's one of those law school questions. And it's very different than what we should be allowing. So, this is a start.
Okay, you said work session.
Yeah, I
So
think
December sometime maybe?
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to, you know, like a day like today, if you were planning on it, where we would sit down and say, okay, from 3 o'clock to 5, we're gonna spend 2 hours on this thing in a normal meeting setting. That's up to you. I'm just saying that this is gonna take some time. Because you need to have all read it, I need to make sure Isaac is comfortable
Redo
with it.
prices on that.
Yeah.
So that's our new one, so if you flip that around, that would be, those are all the new updated prices.
Are you happy with the old prices?
I was.
Are we putting something on the calendar or not?
Yes, I'm glad you brought it in. We're gonna schedule a work session.
Not for November.
Not for
right?
November.
Okay, so I turned the page.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
So when would you like to do the work session? Would you like to incorporate it with a meeting? The morning of, afternoon of?
Mornings don't work for him, that's why I moved it to me.
Oh,
Afternoon would be better.
Sorry, it'd be after, have to be afternoon.
Kind of keep you from having to commit to more than 5 o'clock.
What's the 11th looking like?
Of December?
Yes. Does that give you time?
I think
Me?
so.
Yeah.
Because it's after the Thanksgiving holiday, and he's got a copy of that now, and then a lot of what we do is over the phone. Yeah, that would work for me.
Okay, let's plan on a work session, Monday, December 11th, following the regular agenda, whether it be 2 o'clock. At this point, it's
What length of time are you?
2 hours,
like
probably.
2 hours. At this point, maybe set it 2 to 4.
Mhm.
Now, if other things come up, we can.
Or rather, yeah.
And if we finish with the others early, we can bump it up. Since it's no decisions, we can start early. That work?
That parentheses got a little straight, made it look like 12 hours. We curve that a
Well, with
little bit.
Brad, it
That
could be
could
12
end up being
hours.
that.
Curve that. Now it's clearly 2 hours.
Okay, we have a work session scheduled. Anything else?
Yeah, one other item.
Next.
The Ms. Olmsted texted me. The generator was an alternate on the original RFP. The commission did not accept that portion of the bid.
Okay.
That would then, she's wondering if it doesn't then have to go back out for bid. Which, if I'm understanding you correctly, the answer is probably yes.
That was information we didn't have earlier.
Yeah.
Repeat it for Jen.
The generator was an alternate on the original RFP. The commission didn't accept that portion of the bid. So in other words, we didn't have that as, I understand what you were saying, I agree, in terms of a formed contract, but that apparently was not included in that. So then she's asking, given that, wouldn't it have to go back out for bid?
Comes back to where, but Jonah, you were the one that was pretty insistent, the general contractor.
You're gonna open up a can of worms by, if you do it while
Because
the
everybody's
contract's
seen
going
the
on.
bid on it.
Well, yeah, well that's, but you're gonna invite a third party in here, right? And then they're going to tie up their stuff, and then all of a sudden their warranty that they're supposed to provide on the project, they're gonna be like, well, they messed with it, therefore. So then now you've got finger pointing going back and forth on who's responsible for what. If it stays all nice and tidy underneath your general,
Just like the
it
phone-
doesn't
phone
matter.
company.
It's the general's problem. He needs to get it fixed.
And so that's why you're saying until the general is done.
Yeah.
It needs, their portion needs to be completed before going out for bid.
And this has actually made it a little more complex because it wasn't accepted as part of the general's bid, which made that argument far simpler and more compelling. Now they can still say, wait a minute, we weren't included in that, and that wasn't part of what we did, or what you accepted from us, and we formed into a contract.
So what would be your advice?
Nothing good.
If it wasn't in the RFP, you've got to go out for bid.
Yeah, I'm
So
afraid we do.
The advice would be to wait until the general's finished and then go
Yeah,
out to bid. for it.
even though I understand completely that the,
It's gonna cost $500 more.
Well, it's the cleanliness of it. I'm understanding more. I didn't understand it was an alternate.
I didn't
And
either.
then there's just, we've got some more information. So I guess since I made the other motion, I would make a new motion to supersede, or however you want to say.
this one,
Rescind.
you can rescind
Okay.
your earlier, and then offer up second motion now on the alternative. So,
Yep, okay. So that would be my motion, is to rescind the previous motion. Well, I was hoping we wouldn't get into that.
Tina will read it back as soon as you.
Well, but you don't rescind a motion.
Yeah,
after
that's
it's
actually,
been
it's been
voted on.
approved. Just
Just
do
make a
this
new
one.
motion.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a new motion that.
Just be a
we
quick
have
new
to
motion. I'm crossing out.
No worries, no worries.
We even have a counselor helping draft.
Yeah,
the
I'm
motion.
sorry, I'm trying to think it all through too at the same time. Yeah, it's just a new motion that basically invalidates what you've previously done, and that motion, because it's binding right now.
But the motion would be to go out for
Yeah.
bids on that, but it would be after.
Completion.
The installation would be after completion, right? Because we could still go out for bids now, but the installation couldn't be until the general contractor was completed. Is that correct?
That's a bright line.
It's gonna hold value for more than 30 days.
I was gonna say, how long can you get a bid in 30 days? So you about have to wait till the construction's done.
Or at least near to it.
Or you do what Jonah says, you ask your general contractor if they would take over this and be under his control.
I mean, I don't think it hurts to ask him, does it?
No, and we could do it as a contract amendment.
Well, then the previous motion would basically stand.
Want to leave it alone, we can make the inquiry.
Let them bid a change order. If it seems like it's an acceptable value, then we'll just go with it.
Yeah, because you still have the freedom to not do it.
And then we'll issue them a change order for it, or if not, we'll say, no, we don't want it. Not issue them a change order for it, and then wait till the contract's
Yeah.
done, and
There-
then go out for bids.
There is still the opportunity for
Later on.
rejection.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's considered acceptable, we can accept it. If not, we wait and then we do this.
Only problem, and I don't know the difference, is what Jonah knows.
Right.
Is how much extra work this could cause.
Right.
To wait.
Right. Well,
And
maybe
that's why-
that can be part of the information brought.
Mhm.
This,
Could open a
from
fuse
what I've
box
seen
back
before
up
they
and-
started, shouldn't be a lot. But
Okay.
Is
Then
that-
I'm not
My
worried about it.
understanding is conduit's been put in place for wiring.
No. Okay.
I mean, preparations are for a generator. Okay, so we're letting the previous motion stand
Mhm.
in light of the new, this discussion was in light of new information that Brian brought forward. Okay, well, Isaac, sorry to drag you into that one.
That's okay.
Did we have anything else on Park and Lake?
Yes, just a couple things, nothing that should take too long. Brian, I recently talked to Brian Severn. He kind of wanted to feel things out on if the commission wanted him to go ahead, because now's the time that he's wanting to do the surveying on that
Next phase.
creek. Yes, and he just wanted to check before he came out and got started on anything. It doesn't sound like he plans on doing anything before Thanksgiving, but now that all the leaves are gone, he wanted to get in there and survey that creek to really figure out, I guess.
run the laser through there.
Yeah.
So all the leaves are gone.
Now it all, exactly.
You
Make
can
it a
actually
little
see
easier on-
elevations.
Yeah, he's been waiting on that, and that's kinda what they've been waiting for, was for some of those leaves to disappear, so it'd make it easier for them to get in there, but he wanted to check and see if it was okay for him to get started on that, or if.
And part of that is, we've had our communication from the state, so they're holding our feet to the fire. They let us proceed with this part, but we've got to
Create a plan.
create a plan.
Sharon and I worked on that plan this week, so we're almost finished with it. We'll loop in Isaac and Marcy on the, well, we have to create, in addition to the plan of the work, we have to do an emergency plan for the inundation area, because they bumped up our risk from low risk to moderate risk. And so that particular plan is the one that Sharon and I worked on this week. So we've got quite a bit of that done.
Okay.
So I guess then what Isaac is asking is if Brian can proceed with that next phase of gathering information.
Correct. That would be it. I think it just sounds like he wants to come out and survey that creek.
Did you ever give the price for that, do you remember?
No, we kind of stopped where we ended, and I can get that from him if you want me to get that from him before we move forward.
I just was trying to remember if there was some already.
No, we haven't really, I don't think, discussed or anything on this second half yet, but, and if
Yeah.
want me to
it
get
was-
an
no,
estimate
don't-
first?
it's not up to me. I was
Yeah.
just asking a
Yes.
question.
Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna guess that that's the consensus is before we give the thumbs up.
Just get an
If he
estimate
could-
on what
if
that
he could get
first
the estimate,
visit's
then
gonna-
we could approve it next week.
Okay.
We wanna have you come in each week now. Until this paperwork's in.
Perfect.
See what you
As
start.
long as-
You get some see us now.
As long as you do it in the colder months, I think you can swing it.
Yeah,
That's
Try to-
exactly,
try
that's
to pull
exactly
that
right.
Yeah,
summer.
days like today, yeah, that could happen.
Okay, so
Next.
finally, I think have a feel on what it is gonna take to upgrade the electrical, which we were just talking
Oh,
about,
okay.
in that campground there by the trailer park.
Okay.
And I wanted to see if it would be okay with the commission for me to go ahead and seek bids on that.
So, what have you got budgeted? Is it budgeted for this year yet, or no?
Yeah, we've
So
got-
it was initially budgeted for this year. When we got the first estimate, it was quite a bit higher than what was initially budgeted, but looking at the budget and where we're at right now, I think we can make it work this year.
Okay.
As we did a cash carryover, right? And there-
We'll look at, we'll have to
Okay,
look
cause
at that.
that was the other thing, is that talking with them kinda, and what I was thinking now is if we did this, try to have it done by May 1st is what I'm
Mhm.
shooting at. I mean, it kinda sounds like there's gonna be some things that
Sure.
are gonna take a little longer to get. I wanted to make sure that that was something that was realistic for me to expect, so we're not pulling into Memorial Weekend with that campground shut down. I mean, that's
Yes,
my
have
biggest
it done
concern, but,
before.
Right.
yeah, and it sounds like that is very possible.
Some utility upgrades have to be done. That's the kicker.
Okay, so is there a consensus to have Isaac go ahead and, was it to go out for bids or was it to gather information?
It was
Seek bids. Seek bids.
seek bids,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Commission comfortable with that for consensus?
Gotta do what he's gotta do. If he doesn't get on a stick now, he's not gonna get it done before busy time.
Next year.
Yeah. All right, we've got board consensus to proceed with bids on electric upgrades.
And then my final thing is not really from me. I've been asked to speak to the commission about it. There was another instance this weekend with a dog in the residential area of the lake that had attacked somebody, and they called the sheriff, and the sheriff came and visited with me about it, but there's technically nothing they can do, so I was asked to come and see if maybe as a commission or as the county, if there's anything that we could do for that residential area. I will say this in particular dog, which was unrelated to the previous instance, but we've had issues with it on the park property, and it's not allowed on the park property, but this all happened in the residential area, and the guy just feels like there's nothing he can do, and there's kids there and everything, and so it was something that they have asked me to, there was a couple of them in that area that asked me to come and talk to you guys to see if there was anything that could be done, maybe in the future or something, so.
Fortunately, we have our counselor here.
Talk to the improvement district.
Require a leash law, wouldn't it? Leash ordinance?
Talk to the improvement
It's that,
district.
you remember the broader lake issues list that I gave you last time? That's one of them. We have the surrounding area that is outside of the purview of the park and the lake, but yet it's in the county. We don't have a incorporated entity, and we don't control at that level those kinds of issues, but yet you have property owners living in what amounts to close enough proximity that you would consider it like a municipality. And yes, there are regulatory things we can do to control it at some cost, to us, and also we take on some obligation that need to be discussed as to whether we're going to do it, or if the answer is going to be, on your own.
We have no enforcement authority.
Not right now.
Well, but just a question. Can you do a resolution to impose some restrictions, but just like, it is a part of the county that's under our control because it's not incorporated. So, but could you do it based on the zoning
Yes.
Because there is a zoned
Because we have
area.
the zoned area, the
Yes.
lake lots, which would pertain there plus on East Shore.
Yes,
So could we not do something in conjunction with the zoning?
with the zoning, and that's kind of where it was headed. The problem is it's not quite the same as what we would do in a pure criminal law environment or administrative law environment, but it does give us something. But then we're gonna be picking up the phone and saying, oh, Sharon, you know, and that's not what you probably are looking to do. I don't think she intended to take on animal control.
Well, but it would be, wouldn't it be
Something
under the commission by resolution, but just say it pertains to areas
Yes,
zoned this way, these are.
And then it's turned over to law enforcement.
No. The problem that we run into is in terms of the zoning element of it, that's an administrative function of the county. It's not the criminal function of the county. He's got a statutory scheme of the law under which, you know, chapter 21 and so on, that he controls. He doesn't control dogs, and I'll bet you he's not gonna say, sure thing, I wanna take that one.
You know, dog catcher.
Because we got the same
That
thing
makes
in
sense.
Canada, we got 2 dogs up there.
Oh,
They're taken care of.
somebody on this board is gonna have to become a dog catcher.
No, I think the response back is they need to incorporate.
I know what the answer to it is. They need to incorporate.
And add that authority to the improvement district.
Improvement districts only have
I don't think-
specific statutory authorities.
It doesn't include dogs.
It's an improvement.
It's an improvement. Answer that.
Have you talked to the owner?
It's
It's an improvement.
What'd you say?
Not that kind of
Okay.
improvement.
No.
Tina's question is still valid too, and in terms of the planning and zoning, how far I can go with that. I don't perceive that I can take it quite far enough to be able to put the sheriff's department on the hook to go handle that. And plus, even if we did,
Okay.
we're gonna have
Try
to
to do the
tell
right thing.
the elected official that you've gotta do some things within your
Brad sent him a letter and
department
said
that he may or may not feel particularly thrilled to do. And then I'm gonna tell him Tina said he had to do it.
Yeah.
Blow it off at that one. But I will look at that as well, but it gets a little complex right away in terms of who does what and how it's funded. Yeah, that would be something.
I guess I would have a hard time applying that countywide.
Right.
To me, it's specific
No, I agree.
for a densely residential.
But you're also reaping, you may pay a resort tax or whatever they say, but you are reaping a benefit of not living within the municipality and their governing board.
Right.
There's a trade-off that you're accepting by doing that.
What's the address?
But I think Tina was just mentioning the suggestion, you got a homeowners association, also has some validity, and there are some ways to do some things with that. I did one probably in the last 6 months where we addressed some of those kinds of things. They were similarly situated, but in Sedgwick County. So, are there things we could look at? Yes, but there are none of them that are like, oh, that's simple, that won't cost
Is it
anybody anything.
easier to incorporate or easier to form a HO?
Oh, an HOA is fairly easy to form up, but it's more aesthetics, and again, it's still administrative, where incorporating gives you the ability to go ahead and deal with legal issues on the criminal side, as well as traffic and everything else that you will not get with a homeowners association.
And stuff they want, homeowners association.
And then homeowners association after the fact is not as simple, you gotta get 100% participation in order to move.
That might not occur.
Because otherwise it doesn't run with the land on the lots that didn't have it when they bought them. Your notice, you know, if you have an HOA, when a developer does it, it's on every lot in that development, and by God, you are stuck with it whether you like it or not. You do it after the fact, or you change it beyond a certain point after the fact, everybody's gotta sign on and be rowing in that same boat.
Not a simple.
Incorporation. Help them incorporate.
Yeah, there at least it's just a majority.
All right.
That was it for me, unless you guys had any other questions for me.
Thank you very much, Isaac.
Absolutely.
A lot to work on the next month or so.
Keep an arrow feel for what the first comment is when they find out what they're gonna do.
I'm sure I'll have a missed call when I get out of here.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Brad, did you have?
Yeah, one other thing, which is more just pragmatism here. I gave you a list last time, just kind of read through them. I think I stopped at 18, and it's bigger than that now. Many of these I really would like done before the end of the year, so that means taking up your time. at the regular meetings besides the work session thing. And I wanna know where I get a revolt from you going, why in the heck can't he do it in less time? And I just can't. And how much time you want to allot each meeting, because we're getting done at, 2 or 2:30, and I know you don't want to sit here till 5 every day, but how much time can I, a half hour, 45 minutes? And it doesn't have to be something Tina has to memorialize. I just want to know so that if I give you things in advance and say, okay, here's what's on for today, that you kind of know I'm planning on, we're going to do more than 20 minutes or 15 or a half hour.
What does advance mean? Same day or
No,
3 or
it's
4
like
days?
on Friday. It's a fair question. Because most of these things, most of this stuff I'm working on through the weekend. But much of these are things I think we could do with you being able to, I would expect, as a matter of fact, if I do that, you're looking at it beforehand.
Okay, November 27th, how late can you stay?
27th is right after Thanksgiving. I wouldn't worry about
You
that
don't
one
want to
too
do
much
that
yet.
one? So
But starting
you're down to
December.
3 or 4 meetings then.
Because I kind of know what I want to do on this 27th already, and those won't take us long.
If you take an hour per meeting, you think you can get through it in December?
I think so. I think that would give us enough time to do these.
Well, what I was looking at is a cutoff time. I know there's other meetings, people have up after this one. So generally, I think 3:30 is a cutoff time.
Yeah, that's what I was asking for.
Is that,
I'm good with that.
okay? So
Is
let's
that-
plan on going at least 3:30.
Okay,
And then if
fair
there's
enough.
days that we can go to 4,
Yeah.
We probably won't have to if I have everything to you in advance. You'll have looked at it and said, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, or I get it, and you have an idea where you're headed.
Does that go 3:30 today? Like the other days, 4 or 5.
Get ready to jump to Holden and St. Joe, so they're 2 hours each closer than the last one.
That saves you, brings you some life back, time back in your life.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I really needed for
You
today.
didn't have anything for today?
I didn't prep it with that in mind. I thought we might be doing this thing with Isaac all afternoon.
You brought up work session.
Yeah,
We thought
with an
that'd be
empty
better.
Yeah, I do think it would be.
So how much of this, are you gonna cross it out with Isaac first?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll email him this afternoon and he goes through it and gets back with me with what he's experienced, which really helps.
Okay, we'll move back to administrative items.
Okay, November 30th, which is a week from Thursday. November 30th is the leadership graduation in the evening. That's in Florence at the Brandon Iron from 5:30 to whatever we're done. So, but I need to know how many of you are wanting to come to that and if you're gonna bring anyone.
I have a prior.
I'll do one.
I'll do one.
I'm working through Thanksgiving to try to be caught up, because all the other crews are taking Thanksgiving off.
Shouldn't wake me up the morning.
Well, all week.
Okay, Randy, do you?
What are you doing now? Just going to the meeting, right?
Graduation.
It's just
Graduation.
their graduation, so they'll have program reflections, we'll hand out the plaques and
Okay.
have
Free
food
dinner.
and,
Yeah.
But if there's more than 2 of you there.
it's a social gathering.
Okay.
It's not discussing any business
Right.
of the county, it's just a
Okay.
social gathering, so. That's up to you whether you wanna do that, and if I know they're gonna be 3, then I'll put a notice out, just
Yeah.
saying, hey, they'll be at this social gathering,
Being social.
in social.
Oh, I thought it was very nice of them to bring them in here this time. I thought that was cool.
Well, there was some feedback, from the last session saying, it would be good to do something more with county government, so we created the County Government Day, and
Cool.
I think that from the feedback we've gotten so far, they really liked that County
Cool.
Government Day, so we'll probably do that every session.
Yeah, government day was very, very good. And they had a session with the 5 superintendents, and that was really good.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
It would be
with
neat if
myself.
the commission could do that.
The superintendents are talking about maybe trying to implement that kind of a meeting in the broader community, rather than just the small group, because it was beneficial for them too, so.
Cool.
So am I at 2 commissioners right now, you think? You're gonna plan it? Okay.
5:30?
5:30.
Branding our.
Okay, I needed that, and thank you. We'll get that turned in. And then, KAC. So,
That's the other thing, that's the reason why I'm working through Thanksgiving too, because we have that thing.
Tuesday, December 5th through Thursday, December 7th. And you had all told me, well, Commissioner Mueller is not going. You had all initially said full conference, so I've got you all registered. Commissioner Becker, yours is going to be split. I'm gonna pick up the times you won't be able to be there.
Okay.
So they said we can't change it to a single day, but somebody else from the county can come.
Okay. Very
So
good.
I wanted to go on Thursday. I don't really care about the rest. When's your meeting? Is it on Wednesday?
Wednesday, I believe.
We can-
Oh,
You wanna take the Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah.
if
3
you're
people.
not-
Oh, I'll be there Wednesday.
No, you said you'd be there Tuesday, the 5th.
Oh, Tuesday. Okay, yeah, the 5th I'll be there.
Because I think it's Wednesday, I'll double check that, but I would do that.
Start on Wednesday, no.
You come up with a
Okay,
plan,
you're not
you gotta
getting me
fix
on
it
the
all, and
room,
then you
right?
have to go through a curveball.
Well, that's
Hey,
one thing I wanted
life's
to,
complicated.
I want to, I can't remember now what you all told me about rooms. Because there were no rooms in the conference hotel. There's,
Then rooms came up.
right, there's still, no, we still have no rooms. I mean, I've been waiting for someone to cancel. But I know you wanted room for, so Tuesday night, Wednesday night, right?
Yeah.
But not Monday night. Okay. And what did you want to do? Do you want the same thing Tuesday, like,
I think I'll come home.
so no room at all? Because I can get a room, it may not be in the conference hotel, or it may not be at the KAC rate if we do it at the conference hotel. Okay. Yeah, it's a little close for us and
One day last
Peabody.
Wednesday, they said, oh, we had 13 rooms come up, and then it's like 40 minutes later, all of them are gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, I never got that,
Yeah.
that notification. I would've
So I was
been
like,
nice.
oh, Tina's on it, she got us a room.
No, we never got any notification whatsoever
I
about
didn't
the
see it
rooms.
till 2 days later, so.
Shoot,
I got a notification for a room this morning.
you did?
Yeah. So I could've kicked Keith. from
Oh,
his-
that's
right.
Okay.
You should have happened like 3 times now.
So Commissioner Crowfoot, do you want a room for like the Tuesday night and Wednesday night, or one of those nights?
Do
We have, so.
Do we have a supper invited tonight?
Yeah, that's one thing I needed to talk to you about also.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tuesday night is, they have the K-Camp and K-Work annual meetings.
Oh, yeah, that's the one you have to go to.
I don't wanna go to that.
You have to go to that one.
So last
Which
time
one are
you
you
went to
going to?
that.
Yeah, I did. I went to both of them.
Yeah.
And you went to both
So
of them?
this time,
Actually,
this
yeah,
time
more than you.
Commissioner Crowfoot probably should get to go to the Kirkemichael, like the Cook Flat Rebel or Kirkemichael dinner, whichever.
Cook Flat.
Which one is that? Cook Flat, we have an invitation there. Cook Flat Rebel.
Is that one?
And did
on-
anybody actually RSVP to that dinner?
Is
It
that
was
on Tuesday night, that dinner?
Tuesday night, yeah.
Well, I could probably stay for that.
I think I did.
When's the Kirk and Michael one?
We didn't have an invitation to that
That's
this
too
time.
bad, we're
We
still
have-
paying for it.
They didn't invite us, but.
Well, I need voting delegates for, so the K,
Yes, we paid.
Previous.
K-Work and K-Camp,
Yeah, no.
their meeting is at 5:30
5:37.
on Tuesday. And that's with a dinner, right? Did they have dinner last
I
year
don't
at that
think
meeting?
so.
No,
Oh, okay,
It's just meeting.
it's just a long drawn out meeting.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So,
I've sat through them.
I think everybody else either went to Cook Flat and or Kirk or Mike. That was your 2 choices for dinner.
so that is the, so am I hearing nobody wants to be the voting delegates for these meetings?
I thought Dave was. Jonah could be.
I did.
He said he's got it.
I'll take it. I'll take it this time.
Good job.
They make us name a delegate and an alternate.
You'll be the alternate.
Yes.
And so you could do for both of them, because don't they do them together? So
It's
do
right,
these
one of
together.
those things.
They used to have it through room 4.
Or you
So-
could,
It's fine, I'll be there.
okay.
I'll be there.
Go on Kansas
All right,
Street.
I got a
so-
room I can sleep in afterward, because it's so boring.
So for both of those, we'll have Joan as primary and Dave Crofit as alternate.
Sounds good. I make that appointment.
Where's Mr. Newland?
Where's what?
So then-
You're not going at all?
The next
I
one.
know something's gonna come up. I don't wanna have to pay registration back. So,
The next one is for the KAC, the voting delegate for KAC. That meeting is Wednesday morning at 7:30, before the regular.
You might get that too.
Yeah, if I'm there, I guess might as well.
Maybe you're right there.
I hereby appoint the same.
I'm gonna stay in the, at the hotel, I might as well be the one there.
Be there. Dave, you're back.
Are you driving down that day, or Randy could be the alternate?
If he's staying, he could be the alternate.
I'm not staying.
No.
Yeah, seventeen.
So,
That way
yes,
nobody's gotta hurry up and get there bright and early.
was that a yes, Commissioner Crofit?
I need a room for Tuesday night then?
Yeah.
Guess so.
I forgot to look, where's it at?
It is the county councilors on Wednesday.
Airport, I guess.
Oh, no,
Yeah, I'll just have
downtown.
Jennifer
for
take
Hill-
another phone call.
the Hilton,
I'm not
I guess,
right
isn't
next
it?
to it.
Hilton
Yeah.
Century too.
Downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, will I get the rooms with the jewelry?
I'll find out.
Cause that's just right across the street from Century.
Okay, so just for Tuesday night, so then you'd
Yeah.
be there bright and early Wednesday for the
Late,
meeting.
late check-in.
Okay,
Well, I mean, I don't know,
You gotta be there on Tuesday.
I know, but meeting all day.
Yeah.
okay, that helps me, I can fill everything out. If I have to sign something on Commissioner's behalf, is it fine to use your stamps for those forms? Those,
Yes.
okay.
You did answer that, except for Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, we have an invitation, which we're a little past the date to respond, but I'm pretty sure they'll still let us come. So, this is from Cook Flat Strobel, and that is 6 p.m.
Just follow the crowd.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Well, it came to only a few people.
No.
Yeah, I got an invite, I thought I replied.
I think I did.
All right, I'm just gonna respond on behalf of all the commissioners that are
Okay.
gonna be there, and then maybe you can pop over after the really boring meeting, Jonah, and get some leftovers.
Yeah.
We can leave early.
I just need to find CJ.
Last year, if I remember right, they didn't even bring the food in until half an hour after it
Yeah.
started, so.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, cause you came in and they were just serving.
Yeah, I got, yeah.
Okay, so now I know what to do, and I will get with you as far as, when I know your reservation information, I'll get you a packet of everything that you'll need for that.
This is 2 weeks from now.
And I will try the conference hotel, but if I can't, I'll get the next one that's the closest.
Motel 8.
There is a really nice motel.
There's quite a few hotels there now.
The Drury's right there.
Yeah, there's several.
Yeah, it's just
I used
across
to
the
go-
street,
I used to
so-
go all the time to the Drury, just.
So you'd be okay with that one, Jonah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think there were still rooms. And then the last thing I had was that executive session to review employment application.
Okay, 5 minutes or? how-
Yeah, I think.
Before you do that, Mr. Chairman, I'm serving as a conduit here. The original bid was for $12,000 for a 22 kW natural gas air cooler. I don't think that included installation costs. She was just sending that. I didn't know if that was information you needed.
And it needs to be turnkey.
Yeah, but that's what the original one was, the alternate.
Just to give you an idea of pricing.
Whatever number that they get needs to be turnkey.
Yeah. All right.
I'll send that back.
Make sure they're, I'll leave it alone.
That's it? I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss employment application, applications?
It's a single one.
Single employment application pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personal matters, non-elected personnel performance. Commissioner Brad and Tina for 5 minutes from 2:55 to 3 o'clock.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0, back at 3 o'clock. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
We are out of executive session, no decisions made. Any other business to come up? If not, any commission comments?
I'll make a comment.
What's up?
I was,
You want to read it?
it's just for information, I know we're way past everything, but I got a call from a executive with a local bank that was wanting to know if the county might have interest in a certain building in Hillsborough yet. I have more details that I won't disclose, but just for information.
Well, no, it's a lost cause. I mean, paying for an architect doesn't mean we're paying for a project that, what if it comes back in at $3 million? All of a sudden, it's gonna get real appealing to go look around the neighborhood.
Okay, any other comments? If not, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I don't think it's.
President,